Charge! Win! Game 1, round 1 of the Walter Cup playoffs, 3-2 over the Montreal Victoire. And I just want to say, you wanted this. Maybe for the fans, I can feel some semblance of sympathy. For the organization, for staff and the players and the upper management of the Montreal Victoire, I have no sympathy because you wanted this. You chose us. You decided to play us. The team that finished in third, the team with the better record with more regulation wins. Hey, a regulation win. Hey, you had 12. We had 12. Guess who has 13 after tonight? So sorry, I don't feel... What did I say going into the playoffs? You got to treat this like a slight. Like a slap across the face. Like they just disrespected you. Use that to motivate you. Okay? And, I mean, this team was motivated. There were times. But this team played a great game. I think played one of the best games they played. This was playoff hockey. I could see this being a step up from the regular season. And we stepped up. And played a great game and faced the best team in the league and won as the away team. You know, they say you aren't in trouble until you lose at home. Looks like we're charging up some trouble for Montreal. All we need to do is win at home. We could drop game 2, win our 2 home games, and we're on to the finals. But I'm going to be honest. I don't want 2 home games in round 1. It is rare that you will see me ask for less Ottawa Charge hockey. But I hope that game 4 of round 1 is not necessary. Because with a win like this, if you take this momentum, if on Sunday you win and you go up 2-0 and bring the series back home with a chance to close it out, that would be huge. Montreal is now, of the teams that are like officially still playing in the PWHL, the last Canadian team to win a playoff game. Toronto did it last season. We missed the play. That's another reason why I don't feel sympathy. We missed the playoffs last season. Now, I imagine they probably would have picked Minnesota, who ended up winning the cup anyways. But they faced Boston, a team who I felt they were a bit better than during the regular season, but every game they lost by 1 goal in overtime. This time, hey, we're the first team to beat Montreal in regulation in the playoffs. Let's go. They barely lost each game, but they got swept. And I felt throughout the season we stayed tight with Minnesota every game, or with Montreal, sorry. Every game or just about every game. And I felt towards the end we were starting to play a bit better than them. And they still chose us. Well, thanks for picking us. So I got something that I'm going to do this playoffs. Let's spell the word charge. C-H-A-R-G-E. 6 letters. Let's spell the word Ottawa. O-T-T-A-W-A. 6 letters. So for every win, we're going to add a letter to the city and to the team. And if we can get 6, we got Walter, baby. So let's add the O and the C. And if we can fill out the team name, if we can get Ottawa Charge, oh, that will mean something truly beautiful, won't it? Game 1 in the books, and it is a win. We won. You know what's so sweet? What was our first ever game? Our first ever game was at home against Montreal, where we lost. Now, this wasn't their first ever playoff game, but our first ever playoff game was against Montreal in their home. And we won. We went into Montreal. We've never won in Montreal all season. All season long, we've played Montreal in Montreal and lost and lost and lost. And I bet every single Victoire fan right now would trade in every regular season win that they got against us if it meant winning this game. What if I said it last season? I said it this season. when you win when it matters. If you get to the playoffs and win, they don't care how good their regular season record was. But there's a lot of hockey. It's a best of 5. It's first to 3. One win is great. An away win makes it really sweet, makes things a little bit easier. There's a lot of hockey. We could lose in 4, we could win in 4. We could lose in 5, we could win in 5. But I can tell you this, we will not lose in 3. But we could still win in 3. We have an advantage, and you need that. You need that advantage. So let's get into it. I thought that this was a really good playoff game. I felt like both teams did play playoff hockey. I felt like you could see a difference between regular season hockey and this hockey. I also want to briefly touch on, because I saw some comments on our second penalty, the holding call. There was some people saying like it was soft, and maybe it's still a penalty. And I thought that as the game went on, they let a lot go. We ended up with more power plays than them. I'm not going to sit here and complain about every single time a call didn't go our way. That wasn't an, typical Ottawa charge call. This wasn't of course they called it because it was a charge. This is just, sometimes they see it and they call it. I thought the reffing was fine this game. I'll put it this way. I do not think either fan base, if the result had gone the other way, if Montreal had beat us, you couldn't blame the refs, and Montreal surely also cannot blame the refs. Montreal would have maybe had a better argument because any missed call, they probably would have scored. That's one thing that the Charge had a strong similarity with the Ottawa Senators, especially in the playoffs. Our penalty kill was horrible. It was really bad. It wasn't scored on in 10 seconds bad, but the reason why is squarely on Gwyneth Phillips, who played a lights-out game. Even though this wasn't a shutout, I thought that this might have been the best game she's ever played for the Ottawa Charge. There were countless saves that, if they had gone in, no one would have blamed her. Countless great chances where she made a miraculous save, and our defense as well had a lot of moments where smart positioning, getting sticks where they needed to be to deflect the puck away. That was pivotal. That, in my opinion, helped decide the game and helped limit Montreal's otherwise deadly offense. We held them to 0 goals 5-on-5. We held Montreal, the Montreal Victoire, to a grand total of 0 goals 5-on-5. You take all the power play time, and 3 of the power plays ended early, but let's say that all the power plays played out in full 2 minutes. We had 3, they had 2. That means there was 50 minutes of 5-on-5 where Montreal could not score. That is huge. And if we can continue that trend in the next game, in the next 2 games, this could be a short-lived series. I thought we did a very good job in the third period of not taking a bad penalty. There was a moment at the end of the third where I thought we were going to get called for tripping, and I was, it's just icing. And I don't know if it's just that I got a bad view of it, or if it's that the refs were letting a bit more go. And I felt in the third there were a few things that they let go. I get playoff hockey. But I thought we did a good job of keeping ourselves out of the box, especially. That has been a problem this season. We take a bad penalty that we don't need to take. And I thought both of our penalties weren't necessary. And I think they were both in the offensive end. We take a bad penalty we don't need to take. And the other team has a good power play, a really good power play. They score, or they almost score. And then we take another. It seems that they almost score, we take another penalty, and they do. Or they score, we take another penalty, they score again. That happened this game. And then what happens? We keep taking penalties. And this game, we stopped. And we didn't take any more penalties. In the first period, we actually got the first power play of the game. Delay of game, horrible penalty to take in the playoffs. Just the kind of thing where if you lose by 1, and if you have a delay of game penalty in a playoff game, and your opponent scores on that power play and you lose by 1, that will keep you up at night. And that is what happens because Terralova to Vanishova, who finds a wide open Brianne Jenner. The play starts with Terralova blocking a clear, getting it to Vanishova, and at this point, Brianne Jenner's wide open. She has nothing but daylight. She shoots. She scores 1-0. Ottawa takes the lead off a goal from our captain, Brianne Jenner. First ever playoff goal in Ottawa Charge history when Brianne Jenner scores the Ottawa Charge win. Well, is this trend going to continue? It is. It is. Great goal. And after that, I honestly felt that Montreal woke up. We scored, we're up 1-0, and then they just took the game over. And it's only tied because of Phillips. And then we take a penalty. And again, they don't score in the first 10 seconds. We actually burned about a minute of the penalty kill off. You have to blame Phillips for that. This could have been a 5-second power play. And Phillips made a couple of 9-bell saves. There's only so much that can be done. And Maureen Murphy scores, ties it up. And we do get another power play. I felt in the first period we did a terrible job of setting up in the offensive zone. I felt like we could create puck battles on both ends, but while Montreal would win a puck battle and set up the zone, we might win a puck battle. We would not set up the zone that well unless we were on the power play. We got another power play, and it's good. We don't score, but it's good. It generated chances, at least for the first half. The second half was iffy, but after that, things evened out, and I felt we were setting up the zone a bit better, and this trend continued into the second period, I felt. But that's where the period ends. Tied at 1. There was one puck battle that I need to mention where it was on the power play, late in the power play. Like I said, the first half was good, the second half not so much. This is an example. There were 3 Victoire players on our 1. And we're on a power play. 3 of their 4 players. Back her up. Send in 3 players for all I care. If you win that puck battle and get it out, you have an instant 2-on-1. Or like an instant one-timer, ready to go. You have player here, and everybody else at the boards. I felt we could have used more support there. But we played conservative. It worked for us, right? We went into the second, tied at 1, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm not mad at that, because I thought that the first period was generally in Montreal's favor. Towards the second half of the first period, we started to get back into it. But, it would have been nice to go up 1 because, we have that lead. But I was satisfied. Second period, another exciting start, playoff hockey. And we get a good entry into the zone. And again, I've been talking about exercising demons. I've been talking about getting that little bit better. What happens? Desbiens is sprawled on the floor in a scramble in front. How many times have I talked about that happening where, you have to score there and we don't? And this is the playoffs. You have to score there. And Danielle Sardachny, who, I gotta say, some of you have been giving her a lot of flack. And I said, wait for the playoffs. She has some big moments. She finds Ashton Bell on a great pass, who has nothing but daylight. Montreal killer. Ashton Bell, 4 goals this season, all against the Victoire. This is number 4. She shoots, she scores. And just like that, we take the lead back. 2-1, Ottawa leads. This is when the holding call happens. And really good power play from Montreal. Phillips is holding the fort as best she can. When you give Marie-Philippe Poulin a power play twice in the playoffs and you get burned, it is inevitable that she was going to score. And she does and ties it up. I would say, if we stay out of the box, we're fine. Keep taking bad penalties, and you aren't. We ended up, that was our last penalty. And that was the last time Montreal would score. Funny correlation, but I'm not going to be angry. I would be angry, but they fixed the problem this game. If they continue to fix that problem, if we have a grand total of 3 penalties for the rest of the series and win in 3, I'd be great, learned our lesson and got better. Well, we play I thought the rest of the second, it was evenly matched. The second period we started, I felt, as the much stronger team early on, and I felt this goal evened things out. the first period, like last time when we got the power play, we evened things out. It was all Montreal. Then there was a power play for Ottawa, and things evened out. This time, it was, we had all the momentum. Then Montreal scores a goal on the power play. Things kind of evened out. I still felt generally throughout the second, we played a pretty good game, and I thought was arguably better. Really entertaining first two periods. I put really entertaining period of hockey. And while overall I feel we did better, it was pretty even throughout, with both teams getting bouts of pressure. And I want to emphasize the really entertaining part, because I knew going into the third period, barring the third being like a blowout period where like one team just scores 4 goals and that stinks, it was going to be remembered as a good game. And I wanted to like take that moment in time where I was super nervous, but also like, this is what I have been waiting for. This is the playoff hockey that I've wanted. And unlike the Sens, game 1, the Charge showed up. The Charge came ready to play. And they didn't do that in the third period. I'm going to be honest. At the end of the second, we get a power play. We almost get a goal. Again, Desbiens sprawled down, and the reason why we didn't score is not due to a lack of trying or due to an inability. It's due to a cross-check. I really felt Larocque had a good chance of scoring, and I felt the puck was arguably loose. Like, debatably, there probably could have been a call for goalie interference had we scored, but it's a penalty that helps prevent us from scoring, and I felt that our third power play was far and away our weakest. We kind of did nothing with it. And the third period, we have a bad power play, and Montreal takes over the game. Like, we couldn't get the puck out of our end. We couldn't set up in their zone. And I was thinking, like, okay, like, not only do we need to get to their zone and at least set up something, we need to score. Like, what? Are we going to, like, score on the first chance we get? What? Is Emily Clark going to get in? Send a pass to Cheyenne D'Arcangelo, who's just going to snipe it, and that's lights. That's close the book. Yes! Emily Clark to Cheyenne D'Arcangelo. She snipes it. 3-2. Ottawa takes the lead. Ottawa takes the game. Because after that goal, which was, I felt, the first really good opportunity Ottawa had all period, and it came halfway through the third, Ottawa, I think they realized, oh wait, we can win this thing. Like, we can win game 1. We can win the series. We have a chance to do something here. And they locked in. And for the rest of the game, did Montreal have chances? Sure. But Ottawa played first half Montreal, second half Ottawa. And the difference is, you could see the moment it changed was when D'Arcangelo scored. And the difference is, in the half of the period that was Ottawa, we scored a goal. Phillips, by the way, outplayed Desbiens. How many times have we seen two of the best goaltenders in the league, Maschmeyer and Desbiens, go head-to-head, and Maschmeyer play a very good game, and Desbiens plays a little bit better, and that's the difference. Well, this time, Phillips goes against Desbiens, and Desbiens had a good game. Look, I have the stats right here. She was 24 and 27. That's not like elite, but she played fine. She played good. She made some pretty big saves. And she was far and away the second best goaltender. Gwyneth Phillips, 31 for 33. 31 for 33. What more needs to be said? And a lot of those saves weren't exactly easy. And she makes the difference, as does, I'm going to read all our point getters. Brianne Jenner, Teresa Vanishnova, Anita Teralova, Ashton Bell, Danielle Sardakny, Jocelyn Larocque, Cheyenne D'Arcangelo, Emily Clark. That's a laundry list of players who you want to see getting points in games like this. And they did. And we won. And we're up 1-0. And in the third period, as time was winding down, what happens? Does Montreal get an extended 6-on-5? No. We don't give them that opportunity. Desbiens was on the bench for less than a minute. And it's not because Montreal was super conservative as to when they called her. It's because we just didn't give her an opportunity to leave the bench. She tried to leave the bench, and then immediately We forced them offside, forced her to go back on the ice. And by the time she could actually get off the bench for the rest of the game, there was, I think, 40 seconds left. We were that good at controlling the puck, controlling play, keeping the puck in Montreal's end, and not giving them possession for enough time where they could feel comfortable pulling their goaltender. We had the pressure up to 11. Even if we didn't have the puck, we knew we don't need the puck. We are up by a goal. What we need to do is make sure that they do not feel comfortable, that they feel like if they pull their goaltender, they will just give us a goal. And that's what we did. And by the time that Bien got to the bench, it was too late. And time wound down, the clock hit zeros, and Ottawa won. And it is Ottawa 1, Montreal 0. Now, we are far from done. There's lots of hockey to be played. There's lots more hockey in this round. Minimum 2 games. There's lots more hockey throughout the season. Minimum 5 games. But if that isn't the best way to start your playoff journey, I don't know what is. I think Montreal is our biggest rival. I really do. I don't think there's any... Okay, obviously, just like the Minnesota Frost for other reasons. I hate the Minnesota Frost in the same way that I hate the Anaheim Ducks. It's not hockey related. I don't hate them because of their on-ice performance. I hate them because of some of the decisions that they have made. The way Britta Curl acts on and off the ice is inexcusable. And I think as a team, the Frost should be ashamed that she's a part of them. But in terms of purely hockey, just purely love of the sport hockey, the kind of rivalries that make this sport worth watching. Oh yeah, it's Montreal Victoire by a mile. Genuinely, I think I dislike them as much as I dislike like the Leafs, Habs, Argos, Owls, and Cowboys. Like, that's where it is. Again, there have been times watching the IIHF where Poulin, like Marie-Philippe, national hero, Marie-Philippe, multi-golden goal winning Marie-Philippe, the hero of 2014. That Marie-Philippe Poulin would get the puck, and I was like, Poulin. And I was like, what? Did I just do that? And I did, because I love the Charge so much. And it's the same way I feel when Mitch Marner got the puck in Four Nations. Or John Tavares. That's how I felt. Gwyneth Phillips made a big save in overtime in the gold medal game, and I was like, oh, no, that's bad. The same way Brady Tkachuk scored, Jake Sanderson scored in the final for the Four Nations Cup, and I'm like, wait, that's bad. Like I'm mad, but also, like, those are my boys. It's that point, and this playoff series is going to up that ante. If Montreal ends up beating us, I think they will be on the level of the Leafs and Argos. They will be. Like, I will hate them so very much. If we beat them, okay, Charge fans, clear your mind. Imagine for a moment, after the Victoire, take us over Minnesota, we beat them. And they become either the only Canadian team to not win a playoff series, the only original 6 Canadian team to not win a playoff series, or we become the only Canadian team to win a playoff series. In either case, will you ever let them live that down? No. This is a great start. Lots of work. Fill it. I really hope this isn't mirrored. I'm going to look so dumb if this is mirrored. And as always, go Ottawa, go!